Two old guys that ain't taking their crap no more. You're listening to Earl and George.
Hello, America. Welcome to Earl and George, the weekend wrap-up political show, the only one you really need to listen to. My name is George.
And I'm Earl.
And that's Mr. Producer in the Box. How you guys doing this week?
I got no complaints. I'm above ground. It's a good day.
That's right. Had an interesting week. Needless to say, I had some medical issues that I dealt with, but we'll talk about that. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about how mathematics is racist. We're going to talk about some... We're talking about some crap hole countries.
Hey, I was waiting because, you know,
that was weird.
I was making the music go down.
We'll
and then I was like this.
We'll also talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yes, sir.
The national champions.
Again.
College football.
Again.
The doubters said no.
17.
Tua Tagovailoa came out in the second half.
Is that how you really say his name?
That's how you say his last name.
Wow.
Tagovailoa. And I know that because I was able to call some of our local high school football games where his little brother plays for our local high school here in the great state of Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Appreciate that. There's a lot going on this week. The president out there, he's doing his thing. And apparently now he was in a meeting with people, I don't know, the Democrats, and everybody was in the room.
Press was in the room.
And he was talking about specific countries. He was talking about specific countries, and he labeled them as whole countries. Right? No, because of S.
Right.
Not A. Now, here's the deal. I being in the military for as long as I have, I've been overseas many, many times, and I've been to most of these crap hole countries, and guess what? They're crap hole countries.
Right.
I thank you. I don't want to go back.
Nope.
They suck. And I was sitting here making a list of all the countries I've fought wars in that I would consider. You're not paying attention. Mr. Producer's not paying. This is going to be a tough one for you today, buddy.
No, I am paying attention.
Okay, you had your eyes closed there for a minute.
No, I was...
All right, we'll just delete that out. People think we do the show live anyway.
We don't?
I've made a list. I started to make a list of all these countries that I've been to that I would consider crap hole countries. Wow, that was a long one. That's like a gratuitous tone there. But some of the Republicans in the room say, I don't remember him saying that, and all the Democrats say, I do.
Yeah, of course he said it. You get the media, CNN, everybody saying, yeah, he said it. But nobody else. And the president denied it himself, too. So
now here's the deal. What if he said it?
Yeah. I mean,
who cares?
Well, they're saying it's despairing and it can cause a crisis of political aspects. So
here's my favorite one. Let me. There's two of my friends came out on Facebook with some really good stuff, and let me just pull one of them. Here's what one of them said. He said, "I'm so thankful." Oh, where it is. I'm so thankful to finally have a president who doesn't give a crap about political correctness.
Right.
Said he speaks the blunt truth, and while it might hurt some feelings, it's still true. Our economy is growing. Our unemployment is dropping. African-American unemployment's at an all-time low. Military is strong. Fewer illegals crossing the border. ISIS is destroyed or on the way to being destroyed. Taxes have been cut. Companies are growing. Median household income is up. It's all great. There's a reason Trump won the election, despite all the DNC's illegal efforts to cheat, and he'll win by more in round 2. Face it, people, we no longer have a talking head political game player in the White House. We have a real leader taking on all of the limp-wristed anti-God, anti-God, pro-death, pro-big government, pro-gay, left-leaning media, and liberals. And after only 1 year, we see measurable, positive results. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, Mr. President.
Indeed.
I can't disagree with a word of that.
Right.
And then this guy.
We didn't vote for the man, so.
Yeah. So, and then another friend of mine, an Army veteran, he posted a really good one. He posted a lot of stuff. It was, today is national, quote, pretend you actually care about Haiti, even though yesterday morning you couldn't give 2 squirts and probably thought Haiti was a bleep hole yourself until CNN told you to be outraged day.
Right?
Yeah. By the way, Haiti is a hole. Sorry, it's the truth. So what do you think? I mean, what do you think about the comments? What
I'm not offended by them whatsoever. But I see where some people can get offended by it because they're saying, that the country may be a
crap hole.
Crap hole.
They would say crap hole.
The people aren't, and I get that. But for the most part, he's pretty accurate about.
So the people of Haiti need to change that,
right? But they're coming here, so they're saying that it's going to cause this huge crisis because now he's calling Haitians crap holes.
No, the country of Haiti is a thing. Okay, enough with the tone. Enough. We tried that. You failed.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, we're just done. We'll call it crap hole. Hey, have you ever been to? Has anybody been to Haiti? I've never been to Haiti.
I've never been to Haiti.
I've been around Haiti.
I've been
near
family
Haiti.
that supposedly wanted to go there for a honeymoon, but they canceled it because their travel agent told them they didn't want to go to Haiti.
Yeah, because Haiti's a crap hole.
Right.
I almost said. So, all right. Well, here, check this out. You ready? Hey, by the way, Hillary Clinton was out there talking about Haiti.
Oh God.
The woman whose foundation raped Haiti for billions of dollars.
And only built like one house.
Haiti's government has formally summoned a U.S. official to explain President Donald Trump's reported S-hole comment about the country, according to Paul Altador, Haiti's ambassador to the U.S.
Wow.
Haiti's government formally summoned a U.S. official. Well, what does that mean? Let me hang on. I got to say this guy's name. Yamiche Alcindor, a PBS NewsHour White House correspondent, Thursday. She spoke to Altador, who added that he and the Haitian government vehemently condemned Trump's your country's a crap hole, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Doggone right.
And by the way, when does a crap hole country like Haiti have the power to summon a U.S. official?
Well, it becomes a diplomatic crisis is what everybody's saying. So
give them the finger and be like, fix your country, bro.
They're wanting a diplomat to go. Send Nikki Haley. Let her go and tell them the truth about their country.
Send Maxine Waters. Just watch the bloodfest go on. Can you imagine the storm that she would cause? She shows up in Haiti and she would blame the child in the street begging for money is Trump's fault. Seriously. Every problem with Haiti is now Trump's fault instead of Haiti's fault.
Right.
Quote, why are we having all these people from S-hole countries come here? That's the quote, apparently Trump said.
Supposedly, yeah.
Trump asked during wait a minute, why are we having all these people? Because America's awesome.
Right, that's what I was telling my wife.
Yeah.
Everybody leaves a crap hole country and comes here.
Yes.
That's even Mexicans will admit to it that, I left Mexico because it's a crappy country.
Yeah, Ireland.
Right? That my people came from Ireland.
Yeah, hello.
My people were straight off the boat.
Can I just say this to everybody who's like, that's offensive? Okay, everybody in the room with the president, and by the way, it's being denied he said it. If he said it, everybody in the room thought,
Right.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Mr. President.
Until they thought they could swing it.
And one person behind the camera at CNN went, oh, I'm blowing this up.
Yep.
Yeah, by the way, if you've never said that, which you know you have, and now all of a sudden you're outraged, shame on you. Have a little integrity.
Dick Durbin is the one that started the whole thing. He held a news press conference right after it to talk about how he said these despairing remarks.
Trump hopped on Twitter Friday morning and seemed to deny, I would say he did, reports that he used the term S-hole thank you, to describe Haiti, El Salvador, and African nations. But Democrat Senator Dick Durbin said he was in the room with Trump and the reports are accurate. Durbin went on to record Friday saying, Trump repeatedly made hate-filled, vile, and racist comments to lawmakers during the. Come on, man!
With the media in the room.
Seriously, Durbin,
right.
You think he's that stupid that now you're just lying?
Right. He had to throw in racial.
Like
terms.
you're lying. Stop it.
By the way, El Salvador is a really crap hole country. I know a lot of people that will attest to that too.
Trump also reporting noted the immigrants from Haiti must be left out to deal, quote, why do we need more Haitians? Take them out, end quote. It's a valid question.
Right.
Like we are the country of refugees. If we have a refugee that has a valid reason, they're escaping whatever, Rwandan massacres,
right?
Come here, okay? We will defend you. Right? And by the way, I can empathize with a Mexican or El Salvadoran or Guatemalan or Haitian father who wants to build a better life for their family and their children.
Yep.
I get it. But the first act of coming to the place that you see as a shining beacon on a hill is to violate its sovereignty is not the answer.
Agreed.
Now, your country is a crap hole. What can you do to change that? So, sorry. I believe our country was going in the wrong direction. I cast my vote to change it. I'm doing a radio show with this intelligent guy and that intelligent guy, and hopefully you're getting something from this. Hopefully we can change that together.
Right.
What are you doing, Mr. Guatemalan, instead of going, you know what, guys, I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to go to America and pick lettuce. Is that the best you could come up with? And I just want to reiterate, Haiti's a crap hole country.
Yep.
The only thing that makes Haiti work isn't Haiti's part of it's the other half of the Dominican Republic, right? The Dominican Republic is known for its child sex trafficking.
Yep.
That's what it's known for, sex tourism. There's nothing other in the Dominican Republic that it's known for other than sex tourism, and Haiti is right next door. It's no better. There's one resort in Haiti, I think, and there's one in Dominican Republic where cruise ships go. And it's not like Disney.
Right.
Right?
Their largest export is apparel.
Because the sweatshops.
Yep.
If you're not a child sex laborer, you're making tennis shoes. Well, way to go, Haiti. We'll be right back. It is Earl and George. Go out to our Facebook page. Go out to our website, earlandgeorge.com. Spread the word. Thank you guys for listening on Spreaker and SoundCloud and everywhere else you're picking us up and downloading our mobile app. We'll be right back to talk about Hillary Clinton and her crap hole comments.
Yay.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to a pop concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel.
Or B, just roll with it?
Justin! OMG! I love you, Justin! I love you!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Mama always said that if you keep making that face, it's going to stay that way. You're listening to Earl and George.
Somebody needs to tell Jim Carrey that.
He made a lot of money making his face that way.
Yep.
And Mama's always right. Just ask her. Hillary Clinton, of course, couldn't wait to get out into the media to talk about President Trump's alleged comments. And they're alleged. We don't know that he said it, and frankly, I don't care if he did or not. I'd say he was right.
Right.
I'm done with political correctness, and if your country is a crap hole, then you know what? Get up off your Mongolian wild ass and change it.
Well, like you were saying before we started the show, is it unpresidential? Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, get over it.
Right.
You don't, I mean, if I were the president of the United States, man, I'm telling you, after 17 years in the military, there's stuff even on the radio. I'm like, you know what? You mother. And I just, you got to hold that and be like, no, can't do that.
Somebody's flatlining.
Yeah, right.
No,
Like,
it gets louder.
I'm sorry. I'm a human male, okay? I try watch my language around women and children and while I'm on the radio. But you know what? First word I said to you when I walked in here, I was like, guess what?
Seriously?
No,
Yeah.
That's not what I said. But I mean,
Okay.
it is what it is. I don't care. If you're offended by my language, oh well, be offended. Sorry. But when I describe a country that I've literally gone to and killed people in as a crap hole, guess what? It's a crap hole, according to my opinion. And if Trump said it, I don't care. Was it unpresidential? Yes. Is he supposed to be presidential all the time? What standard by which we measure that?
Right.
I mean,
because some people could argue that President Obama having the beer summit was unpresidential.
Yeah, didn't he smoke like a pack a day?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
The beer summit.
He had that beer summit with that college
plumber dude.
professor and the No, I'm talking about the college professor and the cop that arrested him.
Oh, yeah. But they all just sat
were
around
out there. Yeah, but did you see the beer glass? It was a tall boy. It was huge.
Hey, what's wrong? Nothing wrong with that.
But some people, I'm saying some people say that was unpresidential. So.
When my doctor told me last week, he goes, I'm going to put you on a liquid diet. And I was like, beer's a liquid. He's like, mm-hmm. I said, McDonald's shakes are liquid. He's like, mm-hmm. I was like, I'm liking liquid diets. So the first thing I did when I was on my liquid diet?
Beer?
No, actually, I went and got a Chunky Monkey Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and I blended it with milk and made a Chunky Monkey shake.
Wow.
Dude, it was awesome. Last night I made a Cherry Garcia shake. Yeah. That's you know what I'm talking about. Did you see the video? I took the video of it.
I did not see the
just
video.
Like I sent it to our morning show. All right, Hillary Clinton just was chomping at the bit. By the way, it's a horse joke. That's a horse comment. Because you put the bit in there and they chomp down on it. Right. I'm calling her a horse.
Ooh.
What? It's Hillary Clinton. Have you seen her?
No.
All right. Former Secretary of State and former presidential candidate, as I like to call her, the loser, couldn't wait to get out her comments on President Donald Trump's alleged comments about foreign countries in a meeting with Democrats. Let's see. That's an ad. She said, the anniversary of the devastating earthquake 8 years ago is a day to remember a tragedy, honor resilient people of Haiti, and affirm America's commitment to helping our neighbors. Instead, we're subjected to Trump's ignorant, racist views of anyone who doesn't look like him. Yeah, because that's what he meant, if he even said it.
Right.
Instead, Clinton also retweeted a condemnation from conservative Trump critic Bill Kristol, who contrasted Trump's alleged comments with heroic acts of a soldier who was also an immigrant. 2 weeks ago, 26-year-old, this is Bill Kristol, 26-year-old raced repeatedly into a burning Bronx apartment building, saving 4 people before he died in the flames. His name was Private Emmanuel Mensah, and he immigrated from Ghana, a country Donald Trump apparently thinks produces very subpar immigrants. Yes, because we of course, have the entire country represented in a single individual. Yeah, that's why we hate Germans, because of Hitler. No, I hate Germans because of satchels and military boots. Sorry. You ever notice you can pick a German at an international airport because they're wearing knee-high shorts, combat boots, and carrying a satchel?
Yep.
I'm not kidding. All German men look alike.
Later.
Was that racist? No, it's
profiling.
It's true.
A little bit.
See, I'm not kidding. I've been in so many international airports when I'm sitting there and I'm eating my whatever, and a dude walks by wearing black military boots, shorts, a T-shirt, and a brown satchel. German. I guarantee you, German. Nobody else dresses like that. Nobody. Thank you, Bill Kristol. Thank you, Hillary Clinton. I could care less what you think about it. The president told the truth. He did it in his own way. I'm not going to defend his language because I use it as well, and that would be hypocritical because I have what's called integrity.
Right.
Okay? By the way, Hillary Clinton probably used the same language. Bill Kristol probably used the same language. Get over yourself. You couldn't care less about the country of Haiti or African countries until Thursday. Nobody cared until Thursday. I'm sorry. Wasn't your husband the president during the Rwanda massacre,
right.
Hillary? Wasn't Bill Clinton, or was it Obama? One of them didn't do anything. Who was it? Who was it that didn't do anything? How many people in Haiti were raped by your foundation, Hillary? We have evidence that you didn't do jack for the country of Haiti. Now, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we've got to be so offended by Donald Trump calling it a crap hole country. Guess what? It is. Get over yourself.
It's a whole country.
Yes, it is.
Well, one could argue, too, that it's even worse because of the Clinton Foundation, because they didn't fix any of the stuff they promised to fix.
Yep.
I'll make that argument all day long.
Yeah. No, totally agree, man. Totally agree. Let's see. Where should we go from here? Where should we go from here? Since we're talking about Haiti, and this was an immigration summit, I believe that Trump was having in the White House.
Yeah, it was supposed to be dealing with DACA and border security, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Laura Ingraham, basically, it sounds like Donald Trump did a 180 on immigration. Because he, build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. Right. And then all of a sudden, the other day, all the news reports are like he's making a 180.
Yep.
However, now I'm so confused about this. What's going on with this whole thing as far as you know?
Well, I don't like how he's bending on the whole DACA thing and how he's starting to talk about how he doesn't want to, which, I mean, I agree with him, but at the same time, I read a great article from the guy at The Blaze that we like to read from, Carlos. Is it Lopez?
Yeah, Carlos.
Yeah, well,
Garcia.
Sorry,
Carlos Garcia.
Sorry,
Carlos.
He wrote a great article about.
By the way,
how
he's American, not a crap hole country.
You shouldn't reward bad behavior, and by granting amnesty to DACA is rewarding bad behavior. And he says that.
Wait a minute, whoa! Are we giving amnesty to the parents?
That's what he.
Because the children didn't technically break the law; they were just simply.
That's what some of the.
They were in the car during the bank robbery.
Right. That's what some of the reports were stating, and that's what he was alluding to in his article about how Trump has changed his position on. First, it was no, nobody should get rewarded, and now he's thinking of possibly rewarding everybody that came over, not just the kids. So that, I think, is a huge change from what he was saying.
Fox News host Laura Ingraham blasted the immigration compromise bill that members of Congress reached on Thursday, saying that the president should reject it out of hand before being too weak on immigration enforcement. What she said, quote, she predicted that the Gang of Six will be a complete and utter joke, end quote. Quote, earlier in the week, the president empowered congressional leaders to come up with a bipartisan deal to address the status of those 800,000 or so, quote unquote, dreamers, as Obama called them, through executive action. That Obama turned into dreamers through executive action, protection from deportation. Quote, remember there were some prerequisites. Build the wall, add more border agents and immigration judges, and end chain migration and visa lottery, she added, continuing the quotation. But today, Senators Dick Durbin, Lindsey Graham, and Jeff Flake unveiled their great compromise. The moment I heard it, it was those three involved. I knew it was going to be a bad deal, end quote.
Yep.
Why does Ingram hate the bill? If you're wondering why the president has already, in the words of Dick Durbin, personally rejected the bill, I'll tell you why, she said. It would increase chain migration, violating one of the president's non-negotiables. The DACA recipients get citizenship and can then sponsor relatives and their parents for renewable 3-year periods.
Yep.
The money for border enforcement is, as predicted, a pittance. $2.3 billion is all Durbin and Graham and Flake offered.
Wow.
And by the way, only $1.6 billion will go toward construction of the wall. So if you have $2.3 billion, but only $1.6 billion goes to, where's the other money going?
I don't know. Maybe cameras and equipment.
The real border wall is expected to cost $20 billion. And I hope they make it so big you could see it from space. I want this thing to be the Great Wall of America in the future, right?
Well, supposedly the people that have that are in the front running to build it are the same ones that built the one in Israel. And if you've seen,
the Barrier Project.
Yeah, that wall is fantastic.
Yeah, the Barrier Project. I read about that years ago.
If they can do something like that, then bring it on.
While Congress anguished to find the money, by the way, remember that we're going to rebuild Puerto Rico for $50 billion, and illegals cost us $113 billion a year. So they're having trouble finding the money for the wall, yet Puerto Rico got $50 billion, and the illegal problem, the 14 million illegals in the United States, cost us $113 billion a year. Just saying, I'm pretty sure I could find that $20 billion pretty dang quick.
Right?
I mean, if my gorilla math works, because I've only got a public school education, everybody, $20 billion is almost 6 times less than what the illegals cost us.
Yep.
No, really?
Let's see. So don't tell me we don't have the. This is her again. Don't tell me we don't have the money to enforce our own border. This will not do. No way, no how. President Trump tasked Republicans, Democrats coming up with a solution. News of the deal quickly overall. Okay, I'm not going to read it. All right, we've talked about this many times on this show. We've talked about many times on this show that we both agree that there needs to be a fast lane for the children that have lived in our country for 20 plus years,
right.
have gone to college, they've tried to raise family, but they're not legal citizens.
Right.
They were brought here as children. That specific category of human being currently in the United States needs to have its own immigration issue dealt with. The parents have a debt to pay to society. They broke the law. They came here illegally. There's no question about that. They themselves are illegal immigrants as they made their children. We didn't make them that. They did. But we believe, at least I believe, I can speak for myself, can't speak for Earl. I believe that the children of illegal immigrants don't need to go to the head of the line over people going through the legal immigration process, but they need to have their own lane, let's say.
Right.
And what is the penalty? What is the debt owed to our society of their parents? Is it deportation? No, I don't think so. Somebody asked me the other day, how can you deport 14 million people? I was like, give me enough time and money and I'll do it.
Right.
So is deportation the answer? No. Do we want to split up their families? No. But that's always the claim by liberals against any type of immigration reform. MS-13, got to go. Drug mules, got to go. Drug people, got to go. Breaking the law, got to go. See ya.
Right.
But if Emmanuel and Isabel have been here for 20 years and he's been working construction and she cleans houses, I'm not profiling. I'm just saying most likely because they don't have legal immigration paperwork. And their daughter, Sarah, goes to your local college, right?
Right.
Guess what? These people have done nothing wrong in our country other than getting here. So what debt do they owe? I don't know. I'm not a senator. But it's not deportation to El Salvador.
No.
They've been here for 25 years.
Yeah, and they've contributed to society in more than one way. And they're probably paying taxes. They're probably, giving as much money as they can to the local churches, all that good stuff. So there's no reason to get rid of them.
The reality is you can't fix the problem until you turn off the faucet.
Yes.
Right? I can't fix the plumbing issue until I turn off the faucet. So therefore, the wall must be built. Build the wall. And I'm not talking about a fence. I mean a freaking wall. Right. I want the people on the space station to go, damn, those Americans aren't messing around with their southern border. And by God, if I got to build one on the Canadian border, I'm going to do that too. Build the wall.
Yeah, because that's what everybody's quick to point out in the Hispanic realm, that the terrorists on 9/11 came from the Canadian border, not from the Mexican border.
Do you know how much lumber we could harvest by cutting a swath from the Great Lakes to the Olympic Peninsula?
Mm-mm.
It would be huge. We just send the loggers up there, and right along the American border, they go first. They cut down all the trees, and we put ourselves a wall right in there. Have a nice day, Canada. Are we a sovereign country or not?
We're supposed to be. But a lot of people are getting hung up on the whole wall thing, too. And the whole immigration summit wasn't just specifically about the wall. It was to try and
identify crap hole countries.
Right. And to stop terrorists from coming in, like the damn lottery that they want to do. The last two terrorist attacks that have happened in the country came from people that came in on the lottery.
What is this lottery? You just put your name in a hat?
Yeah, pretty much.
No. We as a country, America, stop what you're doing. Listen to me. We as a country are allowed. I'm sorry if this offends you. Get over it. We are allowed to determine who comes in our country. We get to choose. And if Mohammed is a bad guy, Mohammed doesn't come in. And if Ishmael is a good guy, Ishmael gets to come in. And if Isabella is a bad woman, she doesn't get to come in. I'm sorry. No, you know what? Screw that. I'm not sorry. It's our sovereign country. We get to choose.
But what about the Statue of Liberty that says, give us, you're tired, you're hungry?
It doesn't say, give us your criminals and drug mules.
Right.
And I'm sorry, the president was right. The people come here that do bad things. Now, granted, people come here that do good things. We want them. We want people to come here and do good things. We want them to come from India and China and Japan and all these other countries and Kenya and innovate.
Right.
We want them to come here and start businesses. We want them to come here and raise a family and reach the American dream. But you can't do that with MS-13 taking over St. Louis.
Right.
Sorry. It's the truth. If you can't handle the truth, then go find. Look, man, if you can't handle the truth from Earl and George, go frickin' watch The View. Because it's the truth.
Yeah, they're just sticking their fingers in their ears going, la, 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 la. They don't want to hear it.
It's the same thing about all this nonsense coming out of of the liberals talking about Trump needs to be impeached and this and that, and I'm sick of it, man. And I know, America, you're sick of it too, because that's why you voted for Donald Trump. Now, am I going to defend Donald Trump all the time? Hell no.
Right.
Of course not. I'm not a sycophant. Neither is Earl. Neither is Mr. Producer. And hopefully neither are you. If he screws up, we need to be the ones that say, you know what? He screwed up.
Right.
And
hold him
accountable and take him to task. And everybody in his administration. But when you look at what's going on in America right now in the direction of this country, man, I am all for it. Hit the gas, Mr. President, because he is doing it right. And by the way, in February, 90% of America will get more money in their paycheck, and they're going to go, Trump seems to be doing it right.
Right.
We'll be right back. It's Earl and George. Don't go anywhere.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown-up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Mama always said that if you keep making that face, it's going to stay that way. You're listening to Earl and George. By the way, George is the cute one. Doggone right.
Wow.
He hates that. He literally, Earl hates it when you play that. Play it more. No, I'm just kidding. Trump criticizes Democrats over DACA as bipartisan immigration deal seems less likely to pass, to get done. President Trump on Saturday, that's today, argued Democrats are doing nothing toward crafting federal legislation that would permanently protect 800,000 young illegal immigrants.
No, and this is, I've talked with this about my wife and her family. They've been dangling citizenship, and stuff like this to the Mexican people since the 70s, and they haven't done anything about it. While Republicans are the ones that are sitting there saying, hey, do something about it, and they still haven't done it since the 70s. Pisses me off to no end.
The president and Congress are attempting to reach a deal as part of a federal spending bill that congressional leaders must pass by next Friday, I think.
Oh, wow.
Trump held a televised meeting earlier this week with the White House with congressional Democrats and Republicans on comprehensive immigration reform, which would almost certainly include protection of young illegal immigrants. Now, here's the deal. They call them dreamers. I think we need to come up with another name. That's a terrible thing that they did was to classify them dreamers. Remember that they were brought here by their parents who broke the law coming here.
Yeah, the parents were the dreamers, not the kids.
The parents, yeah. So I mean, this is a tough nut to crack.
Yep.
And we have the worst people in the world trying to crack it.
Right.
Yeah. Is that? I mean, some of these people have degrees from Yale and Harvard, and they seem to be the dumbest human beings on the planet.
Yep.
But then they will sit there and look at you and tell you how stinking smart they are. What was it? We're going to talk about taxes here because I'm going to get off this immigration thing. But they're like, well, we've got to have comprehensive immigration reform. Okay, well, how are you stopping the immigrants from getting here? Well, we can't talk about that. Can't do that. You can't build a wall. Can't enforce our existing laws, for God's sakes.
And that's part of the problem of the Democrat Party. Most of their current feeling on the border is that it should be open because they're going more towards a socialist agenda than they are, a republic. Mm-hmm. So, and they're like, that's why they say, we can't talk about the border wall and we don't want the border wall because they want everybody to come in. And then when somebody lets off a dirty bomb, they're going to say, hey, why didn't y'all stop it?
Yeah. Yes. So you can't have it both ways.
No.
protect the sovereignty of the United States of America as best you can. And if that includes a border wall, guess what? Have a border wall.
Yeah, like we've said several times on this show, other countries enforce their immigration. Why can't we?
Even crap hole countries like Haiti have an immigration policy. You can't just roll up into Haiti. Not that you ever would, because it's a crap hole country.
Yep.
Now, by the way, to all the liberals out there that are upset with the president and so on, can you just answer the question of why people want to come here from all over the world? Can you answer that question? There are questions, and they're going to say something like, "Well, they're fleeing religious tyranny in their own country."
Isn't that what we did?
Makes it a crap hole.
Right.
As in terms of America, I think that's what we did.
Actually, it's interesting you bring that up because the Pilgrims they left England and went to like Norway first.
Right.
And because they feared that it wasn't religious tyranny from Norway, oppression, they didn't want the open and free Norwegian society to corrupt their kids. That's literally why they came here. It's kind of like the Amish.
But
the Amish,
didn't they
the
leave
Amish
British
have
or whatever, or Britain or whatever
for oppression. They did, but they didn't come directly here.
Yeah. Okay.
There was right. You like me have a public school education where we were taught that the Puritans and the Pilgrims they left England for oppression and came to America and landed at Plymouth Rock.
That was Columbus and the Santa Maria.
Yeah, and the Nini and the Bean. By the way, none of that's true.
Right.
None of that
it's
was
all
true.
Made up. It's all a
there.
fantasy.
It's all made up. They didn't leave. They left England for oppression, but they didn't come here. They literally, and they also probably didn't land at Plymouth Rock. None of that's true. They went to Sweden. I think it was Sweden or Norway, and it was the open free society there that
they viewed like Sodom and Gomorrah.
They were like, this is going to interfere with our children and our religious beliefs. We need to leave here as well.
Huh.
And then they came to America.
Where'd you learn this?
Just reading.
Research.
Yeah, it's called a book.
It was too liberal, whatever country it was. I can't remember. I think it was Norway.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up. But it was too liberal. They didn't like how liberal, loose, and free the people were.
So back to my Amish. It's kind of the Amish have a very, very interesting society because they're not members of the United States. They're not citizens of the United States. And they do everything they can to keep their children away from American society because it corrupts them and pulls them out of the Amish community.
Yep.
I grew up in Delaware. My father was an English professor at a university in Delaware. So I grew up in Delaware around lots of Amish. And, no electricity, no television, no modern whatever. And, they ride around in the buggies and so on. And they have to have a battery so cars won't run into them. So they have little, they have to do the bare minimum so they don't die on the roads of Delaware and Pennsylvania and so on. But, yeah, they don't want anything to do with us because we would corrupt their children. The Pilgrims, exactly the same reason they came here. And it wasn't because of English oppression. Now, they left England because of oppression, didn't come to America. I think they went to Norway. Look it up. Just go read a history book. Anyway, tax cuts. Let's talk about tax cuts. Raise your hand if you're getting more money next year. I believe everybody in America, 90% of you. Who are the 10% that aren't? That's it. I'm going to do some research on that. About 90% of all workers. Who wrote this? Terry Webster. 90% of all workers will see an increase in their take-home pay under new guidelines and withholding tables by the U.S. Treasury and IRS. Hallelujah.
All right.
Well done, Mr. Trump. Well done. The Republicans in Congress finally did something good. They didn't cave to the media or the liberals.
Oh, they caved on some of it.
Oh, I know. Workers will notice an increase in their paychecks as early as February. Employers were given a February 15th deadline to incorporate the changes into the payroll systems. The fast rollout of the changes is designed to offer new tax law benefits to as many people as possible, while also limiting distributions to the payroll process. Think about that for a minute. When it comes to dismantling Obamacare, we as a country and the leaders in D.C. have chosen to do it the most painful way possible to the maximum number of people.
Right.
Instead of just going, we don't like it, do something else. They're like, we're going to dismantle it a tiny little piece at a time, and the maximum number of Americans are going to be hurt by that.
Yep.
But when it comes to taxes, right? When it comes to taxes, they're like, nope, we're not doing it that way. We're going to literally, this is the whole smash. Boom. Done. Have a nice day. Let's see. Major changes in the tax tables include new tax brackets, mostly lower income rates. Lower income tax rates, near doubling of the standard. It's not a near doubling of the standard deduction. It is
a doubling.
A doubling. And the elimination of both personal exemptions as well as many itemized deductions, making it simpler for people and less expensive. That's what those do. I'm okay with fewer personal exemptions and itemized deductions. It makes it easier to do your own taxes, which means you don't have to go hire somebody to do taxes. I am always going to hire someone to do my taxes. I'm sorry. Unless they can get it down to a postcard, right? I'm always going to hire somebody to do my taxes because I have too much going on. The good news comes with a caveat. Many taxpayers will need to ensure that enough money is being withheld from their paychecks. If not, they could face a hefty bill in 2019. Okay, I'm sorry. That's already the tax system.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about that. You know, if you I hate the word refund, by the way. If you overpay the government, they hold your money for several months until you ask them to give it back.
Yeah.
At
their choosing.
Yeah. And by the way, they may not.
Yeah, they don't have to.
They don't have to give you your money back. It's not a refund. It is you overpaid your taxes, and you get a little bit of that back should they choose to give it to you.
Yep.
If you underpay, then you write a check to them and
immediately
say your tax liability. You immediately are forced to write a check to them, and if not, you start paying penalties and fees.
1099.
Or you go to jail like Wesley Snipes.
Now,
wait, what?
Now, some people use a system whereby they prepay their taxes to a certain amount.
Yep.
And then their liability is the same, but what they pay on April 15th is less. I choose to prepay. Other people choose to, they reach a certain amount that their accountant tells them, and they stop paying those taxes. There's a lot of different things you can do. So don't tell me that this new tax bill means that you got to make sure enough is withheld. Okay, guess what?
You've always had to do that.
Yes, you've always had to do that.
That's called filing correctly.
Democrats are criticizing the plan, saying it could lead to people owing money when they file their tax returns. Sorry, Democrats, because in the past, nobody's ever owed money to the government. It's now because of this new tax law.
There's no such thing as the IRS.
Oh, man, that's funny. Republicans are using brute. This is a quote from Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, the top Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee. Quote, Republicans are using brute force and speed to implement the law that will deliver a financial blow to hardworking Americans all across the country, end quote. I'm sorry, Ron. By giving people more of their own money?
Wow, that burden must be horrible.
Man, it's the brute force to give me money. I'm okay with that.
$12,000 to $24,000 more dollars in my pocket. What a burden.
Wyden and Representative Richard Neal, Democrat of Massachusetts, who serve on the House Tax Writing Committee, asked the Government Accountability Office to review the new IRS tables to see if they will result in not enough federal taxes being withheld from paychecks.
Wow.
Now, we all know historically when you lower taxes, government revenue goes up. I don't know how that happens. It just does. There's no way to refute that. Quote, I look forward to the GAO's independent review of these tables, which will expose whether the Trump administration is tampering with Americans' paychecks, resulting in a whopping tax bill next year. You know what? They are setting you guys up.
Of course.
America, these Democrats are setting you up. Okay? They are going to do everything in their power to make you getting more of your own money back a bad thing.
Right? They're already doing it.
They're setting you up. Because I don't know of any American that's like, man, doggone Trump giving me more money. Doggone it, stupid Trump Republicans. I hate you. Take more. Why? How dare you give me more of my money back? New York hates you for giving more of my money. But man, I wish you would take more money from me. Nobody says that.
Well, it's interesting you say that because during the election, there were more people that were saying that for health care. They were saying, if I can have better health care, take more of my money.
I know a bunch of Republicans were jokingly saying, take more money to build the wall.
Right.
I'll give you $10. Let's see. Suspicions that the administration is manipulating tables is a ridiculous charge, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said. Most people receive tax refunds, and that trend is expected to continue. I hate the word refunds. I should say most people overpay their taxes throughout the year. That's what happens. The IRS is issuing a new online withholding calculator by the end of February. The calculator will allow taxpayers to anonymously enter information such as income and dependents to determine they're eligible for various tax breaks. New W-4 forms are expected to be issued until 2019. Now, this is the end of the freaking world, according to Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is going out there just railing against the tax, the new tax plan.
Yeah, because
I don't know how.
She said that these big corporations that are giving these bonuses out to
people,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that they're what the actual people are going to be getting out of it is going to be pennies. It's going to be next to nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking, if I worked for one of those companies and I've got let's even say an extra $200 a week on my paycheck, that may be pennies to her rich butt, but to me that would be fantastic, especially if I've got kids that I've got to feed. $200 more a week will go way further for that family that's working, and they're going to be a little bit more appreciative of that because the companies really didn't even have to give it all the way down the board.
No, they didn't.
So for them to do it and be willing to do it, I mean, Nancy is one of those people, though, that I just would get a pie to the face.
Well, this ties into a story we're going to talk about leading up to the top of the hour. And when what she's saying is total lunacy. And I love it how the people out there that are questioning President Trump's ability to serve seem to be the most insane human beings.
Right.
Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Dick Durbin, they're all out there crying wolf. And the reason they're doing it, America, is because of the 2018 midterms. They think that by scaring the pants off you about all of this good stuff that's happening, all the good stuff means that you're going to vote Democrat.
Fear-mongering.
They're fear-mongering. That's exactly right. She's been out there before the thing even passed talking about how this is the worst bill in history. Yep. And now you have hundreds of companies giving their employees more money. Well done, President. We'll be right back. It's Earl and George. Don't go anywhere because this ties into our next story, and you're going to want to know what that is.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn earrings today.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Michaela's got like the best earrings.
Sarah, buckle up.
I wish my name was Michaela.
We're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
It can be tough getting through to kids, but it's your job to make sure they're wearing your seatbelts. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Smoother than aged whiskey and tighter than turn 4 at Talladega. Earl and George.
That Talladega turn 4 is pretty tight. All right. So we're talking about taxes and how apparently smart people are stupid and a college degree and this, that, and the other thing. Here's a story that I believe we've talked about this before because somebody else had an article a couple of years ago about this, but this one is coming back, and I'm tying it into the tax thing. I'm just going to read this. It's the most amazing thing to me, and it really pisses me off.
Oh, wow.
A trio of British professors have argued that racism can be found in numbers and statistics that, quote, serve white racial interests, end quote.
Wow.
One might assume the realms of mathematics, statistics, and numbers are free from subjectivity and therefore devoid of racism and white privilege. This is from Dave Urbanski. Not so, according to a trio of British professors who just published an article on the issue for the academic journal Race, Ethnicity, and Education. Why do you have an academic journal called Race, Ethnicity, and Education? Nobody can answer that question. Let's see. It seems that David Gilborn, Paul Warmington, and Sean Demack are of the opinion that, quote, quantitative data is no less socially constructed than any other form of research material, end quote, and that, quote, racist perspectives, end quote, can be found, quote, beneath the facade of supposed quantitative objectivity, end quote.
Wow.
That in itself, thinking that mathematics can be racist, that statement itself is absolutely 100% true. And I totally blame the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Mayans, the Greeks, and the Persians for making it so.
For coming up with math.
How dare you, Egyptians, Babylonians, Mayans, Greeks, and Persians, make it so racist?
Racist!
The professors also looked at critical race theory as a guide for the future use of analysis of quantitative data. And what does that mean to you and me? I don't know. For one thing, they write that, quote, numbers are not neutral and should be interrogated for their role in promoting deficit analysis that serve white racial interests, end quote. Because when the aliens come and the universal language of 1 + 1 = 2 is used to communicate with them, they're immediately going to go, holy crap, you're such a racist planet.
Let's go to Mars.
In addition, they write that non-neutrality of numbers exists because, quote, quantitative data is often gathered and analyzed in ways that reflect the interests, assumptions, and perceptions of white elites, end quote. Wait a minute. The assumptions? Mathematics is not about assumptions.
Nope.
The interests? Mathematics has nothing to do with your interests. Quantitative data is exactly that. Quantitative data. How you perceive the data comes from your own innate racism or lack thereof. And I say that because I've been binge watching Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. Seriously. I'd listen to these people that are like, ancient aliens have landed. Could it be alien? Yes, it could. But I mean, you look at probability and impossibility. Is it possible that ancient aliens landed and gave the Maya a calendar? Sure. Is it probable? No. So it's how you interpret the data, whether your own racism comes into play. It's not the mathematics. It's not the. And by the way, neither Earl and I are mathematicians. Hell, we barely graduated college.
But the fact that they keep using the term quantitative data, the definition of that in itself says that you can't, like, it's infallible. It can't be manipulated, to paraphrase its meaning. So, anyway.
However, this is a growing trend to say that mathematics is racist because white people.
Everything's racist because of white people.
I don't understand how a system, a numbering system, mathematicians look at patterns and things like that.
Right.
And math has been around for a while. I don't know. I mean, Pythagoras really probably doesn't fall into the KKK category. Right?
Let's go ahead and grab an abacus.
I mean, the Mayans developed a 0+ system like we have.
Right.
The Egyptians came up with massive geometric success in their mathematics, and very, very precise. These mathematicians in ancient times used all of this to look at the stars and map all kinds of different things, and to include our calendars. How in the world does that have to do with white people in America in 2018?
Racist. That's how.
So
because it favors us
if
somehow.
you're going to blame anybody for mathematics and its problems, blame the Egyptians, blame the Babylonians, blame the Mayans, blame the Greeks, and blame the Persians. Don't blame me.
Romans too, right? Shouldn't the Romans be in there somewhere?
Bunch of racist white Romans. I mean, this is the dumb. And I guarantee you, Maxine Waters will be like, see, you racist people, white people invented math.
Well, that buys into their whole Common Core thing anyway about math meaning whatever you want it to mean.
I mean, and by the way, these are college professors, people.
Right?
These are college professors. These people carry immense weight,
and they
in
paid
lectures.
A fortune for their.
How in the
college.
world can mathematics be racist? Because if you're a white dude, 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
If you're non-white, Does 1 + 1 mean something else?
Still equals 2 as far as I know.
Now, I will say that if you bring up statistical data, quantitative data, and you look at it from a racist standpoint, guess what the result's going to be?
Racist.
Exactly. And I go back to the map of our world. Have you seen the map of our world? The globe itself.
Yes.
You know, it looks nothing like that.
Right.
I'm sorry. It's the truth. If you go,
it's flat.
And here's no, I'm not one of those people. Now, if you take the world as a ball, as a sphere, and try to represent it as a flat, two-dimensional object, have you ever noticed how America is always level?
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, it tilts to the right about 20 degrees. We're aiming to the southern tip of Africa. But when you look at a map, typically America's level. Germany, the country of Germany, on the map that you look at on the map, is not there when you look at it as a sphere. The sphere, when you look at a globe, it's completely different. The size of Greenland and the size of Africa, totally different sizes. Look it up. It's kind of amazing when you look at it. Greenland is always represented as much, much smaller than Africa, when in reality the two continents are almost the same size. Yeah. He's looking it up.
Pretty much.
Like I would lie to you, America.
No, it's just one of those things. It's like I've never thought about looking at it that way.
Now, why is that represented that way? Because they're taking a three-dimensional object and trying to represent it as a two-dimensional object, which is very difficult, right? You have to onion skin or peel the globe, which changes things. So, but why now, when you have this discussion about why the map is different, you know why they say it's different? Racism.
Oh, of course.
Because they wanted to diminish African countries and ingratiate white European countries.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, I can't make that crap up.
Wow.
Yeah. Just another example of how crap hole countries are getting the shaft. Now, coming up next hour, we're going to talk about the State of the Union.
Oh, wow. I can't wait for this.
Yes. We're going to talk about the State of the Union and all the people that are protesting it. But also, last week we talked about, and we've been asking this since the Trump dossier came out, we've been asking this question. Was the Trump dossier used to obtain a FISA warrant to wiretap a presidential candidate? Because we know that the dossier is fake.
Right.
We know that the information in the dossier is fake. We know that the dossier was paid for by the DNC and Hillary Clinton. We know that it was distributed. Now we know that it was distributed through John McCain, of all people.
Yep. But they supposedly say that the RNC was paying for it at first, and then when they realized that Trump was going to be the candidate,
no, it wasn't an RNC. It was a Republican, but it wasn't an RNC.
Okay.
It wasn't the RNC. But we know we know that this information is all fake. But the question remains: was fake information used to obtain a FISA warrant to wiretap the presidential campaign of Donald Trump? Next hour, we're going to talk about that, and you're going to be stunned at the results. We'll be right back. It's Earl and George. Go out to our Facebook page, like, share, comment, do whatever Facebook will allow you to do with their weird algorithms now. We'll be right back. Thank you guys so much for listening. One more hour to go. It's Earl and George. Don't go anywhere.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Mama always said God made dirt and dirt don't hurt. You're listening to Earl and George.
Technically, a meteor is made of dirt, and I think if that hit you in the head, it'd hurt. I mean, if 1,000,000 tons of dirt gets dropped on you, it's going to hurt.
Right.
But like a skint knee, that's all right. Welcome back to Earl and George, hour number 2. We talk about the big political stories and other stuff that happened in the past week. So tell your friends and tell your neighbors, because it's kind of like the funnest show of the week. And by the way, if you don't like what you're hearing, go watch The View, because I could care less. I really don't care. We're going to do the show with or without you. We'd like to do it with you and everybody that you know on Facebook and IRL. That's gamer for in real life. Thank you, my daughters. Thank you. I'm so socially conscious. I'm so cool. Okay.
Wow.
Can I just say roll tide? Alabama, the national champion. Yes,
Roll Tide.
I was terrified during the first half of the Georgia-Alabama game last week. So much so that apparently my colon exploded. Had to go to the doctor and get that all checked out. But no, it was Monday night. It was after the game. I was like, right?
Too much screaming.
Too much football.
And I woke up the next day and it was like 26-23. I was like, woo, pulled it out there. And I knew I at the halftime I looked at my wife and I said, Saban needs to change something. Their Alabama defense is rocking. The Alabama offense has a weak link, and I believe it's Jalen Hurts, because he's been struggling the last couple of weeks. I said, you need to get Tagovailoa in there and get it done. And guess who got it done?
Yep. And did you hear how he got it done? That was the best part of it.
By giving all of the glory to God
and praying. He was praying in tongues to keep himself calm while he was on the field. Because you got to remember,
awesome.
The boy was in high school last year.
Yeah.
And now he's playing college ball on the biggest stage of his career in front of the largest crowd ever to witness it in person or watch it on TV.
And he was down 13-0 with only 2 quarters of football to play.
And that goes to the man's character to be that young of a man, to look at these older people that are part of the offensive line and say, fellas, we can do this. I just need you to rally behind me. I mean, dude, it's chill bumps just talking about it.
Now, what does that mean for Jalen Hurts next season? Because Jalen's only a sophomore. Yep. We still have Jalen Hurts for 2 years at Alabama, and Tagovailoa is a freshman.
Yep.
A freshman Alabama quarterback came in and saved the day. And by the way, Tua's younger brother is a senior at our local high school. So guess who's going to Alabama next year as a freshman?
He hasn't committed, has he?
Well, it's close. Now, all the Auburn fans, we broadcast from Alabama, so it's Auburn and Alabama. There are other football teams here. They're not worth whatever.
Right.
It's Auburn and Alabama. All of the by the way, Auburn is politicking hard to get his younger brother, Tualia, I think his name is, Tagovailoa, to come to Auburn. Therefore, in the Iron Bowl, which is the Alabama-Auburn game, you'll have 2 Tagovailoa brothers playing.
Wow.
Yeah. But he's already said he's going to Alabama. They moved here specifically to go to Alabama to play football.
Yeah.
From Hawaii.
That was another thing he said when they were interviewing him after the game. He said he doesn't know. He said he doesn't pretend to know what God has in store for him, but clearly it's God's plan, because how in the world did Nick Saban find him in a little hole-in-the-wall place in Hawaii
and his little brother
and move them all the way over here?
Well, Nick Saban didn't move them. His parents moved them to Alabama
for the opportunity.
For the opportunity to play at Alabama under Nick Saban, Yeah, it's really an amazing story. But the family's fantastic. I mean, they live here. They literally live like 2 miles from this radio station where we're broadcasting now. And they're great people, and their son is a star football player at the local high school. Their other son is a star football player at Alabama. I mean, it's,
I like the look on the reporter's face when she's like, how did you do this? And he said, I was praying. And she was like, how did you keep calm? He said, I was praying in tongues. And she's just looking at him like, how do I do this? How do I conduct this interview?
Now,
great.
All credit to Jalen Hurts, right?
Yep.
Came in, did his best. Tua came in, did his best, won the football game. Jalen Hurts took us through the entire season, did a fantastic job through the entire season, was struggling the last couple of weeks, and at the very end, he was part of that winning football team. He gives the credit to Tua and the offense and defense. He's a class act, Jalen Hurts. He could have been all butthurt and was like, well, I'm going to play for Tennessee. Right. No, class act, great guy. And Saban, again, in the locker room, if you watch the film from the locker room, was given the game ball, and everybody was like, give it to Tua, give it to this guy, give it to that. I mean, who caught the pass in the end zone? And, really, really fun to watch. All right. Oh, my goodness. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk about the State of the Union. We're going to talk about the sad state of pussy hats in America. And we're also going to talk about, we might get to the James Franco story. We might talk about that. But we've been talking about for weeks, months, literally, since this came out about the Trump dossier. My number one question, being a political person that I am, and watching politics the way I do, which is totally different than the way you do, probably, because you don't need to, because there are people like me that do. Rush Limbaugh says it all the time. He's like, look, you don't have to read every news story, because I do.
Right.
And Earl and I do this all day. We're texting back and forth. We send articles back and forth. We just consume it differently than we can do this. This is our passion. But Mr. Producer, after almost every show, walks up and he's like, man, I really learned something today.
Yep.
I really learned. I had no idea. By the way, we've also said, don't take what we say on this program as gospel. Go do your own research. Even though we're not going to lie to you, go find it out for yourself.
You should do that with everything.
Yes, especially The View. Here's what you need to know about what FISA means and government surveillance in your life. The House of Representatives voted Thursday to continue an NSA surveillance program that lets the government read American citizens' private messages if they're communicating with foreign nationals. The bill would extend the NSA program for another 6 years.
Wow.
It's a bipartisan push among lawmakers to stop the extension of Section 702 of the FISA Amendments Act, a provision allowing the government to conduct warrantless surveillance on Americans' private communications. But the law passed the House 256 to 164 and is now being considered by the Senate. Republican Senator Rand Paul and Mike Lee and Democratic Senator Ron Wyden are expected to vote against the measure. Thank you, Rand Paul and Mike Lee. NSA warrantless surveillance of American citizens is unconstitutional, and our rights should not be violated. By the way, this is Glenn Beck read, in the name of keeping us safe.
No, indeed.
I'm paraphrasing, but if you sacrifice freedom for security, you were probably going to get neither. That's a famous quote. Go look it up.
You deserve to lose both.
Why can't we agree on something as basic as your right not to be surveilled if the government doesn't have a warrant from a judge? Now, the FISA, which stands for Foreign... Hang on, I had it right here.
Intelligence
Surveillance Act, yeah. Was used by the Obama administration to wiretap Paul Manafort and the Trump campaign. There is no question.
Right.
Trump made allegations during the campaign that Trump Tower was being wiretapped by the government. He was mocked and ridiculed for making such a ludicrous accusation. On the heels of Ross Perot, who made a similar accusation, as it turns out, Donald Trump was 100% correct.
Yep.
That Trump Tower in New York and other locations of the campaign were wiretapped by the Obama administration FBI. Ready for this? The unverified dossier alleging connections between President Trump's campaign and the Russians was used as evidence by the FBI to gain approval from a secret court to monitor members of the Trump team.
Wow.
This is an article by Sarah Carter.
Wow.
A large portion of the evidence presented in the salacious 35-page dossier put together by former British spy Christopher Steele has either been proven wrong or remains unsubstantiated. However, by the way, that's a big word for meaning they have no evidence.
Right.
However, the FBI gained approval nevertheless to surveil members of Trump's campaign, quote, "It's outrageous and clearly should be thoroughly investigated," end quote, said a senior law enforcement source with knowledge of the process. Multiple sources told Sarah Carter that the dossier was used along with other evidence to obtain the warrant from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, known as FISC. The sources also stressed that there will be more information in the coming week, by the way, this article was from 3 days ago, regarding systemic FISA abuse. Quote, "The dossier certainly played a role in obtaining the warrant," quote, added another senior U.S. official with knowledge of the dossier. Quote, "Congress needs to look at the FBI officials who were handling this case and see what, if anything, was verified in the dossier. I think an important question is whether the FBI paid anything to the source of the dossier," end quote. Who are the FBI officials referenced in that quote, Earl?
I'm going to say Mueller.
Yes.
And, God, Comey.
Yes.
And maybe even the guy that changed the language.
Strzok. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
It just proves we consume this differently than you do.
Wow.
The people now investigating Donald Trump's Russia collusion allegations are the people that used fake information to get a judge to give them a warrant to do wiretapping against a federal candidate.
Yep.
This goes beyond breaking into the Watergate Hotel.
And see, the thing that you said in there that catches me is the secret judge, the secret court that they use, which is appointed by the president. Every president gets to appoint his own judges for the quote-unquote secret court, and they get anything passed through those people. So it just goes back to prove that Obama had his hands in it, because if his court approved it, Obama is the guy that got the approval to go through.
And it was paid for by Hillary Clinton, who was running against the candidate that was being surveilled by the federal government.
But you're just trying to distract us from the Russia collusion that Trump's going through. That's all this is.
Unbelievable.
Right.
This is revolt-worthy information.
But nobody sees it that way because they're like, it's no big deal. But they don't realize the intrusion, the many laws that were broken. Forget that, the intrusion.
If fake information was used to get a judge to sign a warrant, that in itself is a federal violation of perjury in court. You lied to a federal judge to get a warrant, which was then illegal in itself because you lied to get it. Many, many people need to go to prison.
Yes.
Many, many people hopefully will go to prison. People from Robert Steele, who put the information together, who, by the way, is being sued by the Russian guy for defamation of character, who put it's amazing. You can't make this crap up. This is spy movie worthy stuff.
Yep.
And if you lie to a federal judge to get a warrant, knowing that this information was fake, that was unsubstantiated or proven wrong, is the federal judge now liable? Manafort has a case. Trump has a case. Everybody who was surveilled has a case. And guess who the defendants are? Hillary Clinton, the DNC, the Obama administration, Mueller, Strzok, Comey, and every investigator of the FBI who had a hand in it.
I wonder if the deputy attorney general is going to be
Rosenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's another one. There are so many people at the DOJ and the FBI, and I'm not done with the story.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to come back and keep going.
Wow.
And I asked this exact question a year ago on this program, I believe. Like, how many episodes did we like 4 months ago? We started talking about
2 or
this.
3 episodes.
I asked the question: was this? I don't care what's in the dossier. I don't care if it's true or false. If it's false, was that information used to get a FISA warrant? As of this week, America, the answer is yes.
Wow.
And I ain't no lawyer, but I know that that's wrong. Earl and George, Aged Conservative Talk. We'll be right back. Go to our Facebook page. Spam the like button. Spam the share button. Tell all your friends. Tell your neighbors. It's the only show you need to listen to because we break it down just like we did and just like we're gonna when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to The Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown-up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hey, you, over yonder. You're listening to Earl and George.
Roll Tide! By the way, that's our morning guy at the radio station where we broadcast from. He's a die-hard Auburn fan.
Yeah, I remember him complaining about doing it.
He hates it when we play that. He did it only for this show. But last week on the morning show, I came in, I was messing with him, and I was like, hey, Dale, what was that thing you said? Roll Tide! He's like, on Friday, members of the House Intelligence Committee went to the Justice Department to review the FBI and DOJ documents requested last August by Chairman David Nunes. Congressional sources said the information is essential to the committee's investigation of Steele, the dossier, and Fusion GPS. We now know that all of that has either been proven wrong, false, a lie, let's call it what it is, or it has been, as of yet, all of the allegations in the dossier completely unsubstantiated, meaning they have no evidence. And yet, that dossier has led to a year-long investigation by the former FBI director, who at the time got the FISA warrant to surveil a presidential candidate.
And nobody can see the corruption in
And
this.
nobody's asking the question. Peter Strzok, hired by Mueller, the former FBI director, had an affair with another FBI agent, sent thousands of text messages back and forth talking about how they were going to stop Donald Trump from getting elected and how they could help Hillary Clinton. And nobody asks the question about corruption.
Could it be the way they were going to stop was the dossier?
Yes, that was Plan B. Peter Strzok was in the room when Hillary Clinton was interviewed about her email server and all of the spillage of classified information. Peter Strzok was also the person who changed the language that Comey wrote that included the words grossly negligent, which is a legal term, to extremely careless, a non-legal term, protecting Hillary Clinton from future prosecution. Peter Strzok was also hired by Mueller to investigate the Russia-Trump collusion. Peter Strzok has had his hand in all of this. Mueller has had his hand in all of this. Rosenstein, other people, Comey.
Yeah, I think Strzok's going to end up being the fall guy.
Yeah, if anybody goes to prison, it's going to be Strzok.
Yep.
Yeah. We have evidence that Hillary Clinton violated federal law. Probably not going to do time.
Right.
We have evidence that Robert Steele lied to the FBI. Probably not going to do any time. We have evidence that this dossier was used to lie to a federal judge by the FBI. Nobody's going to do any time.
I can see why they wouldn't make Hillary Clinton do it, because they don't want to tarnish a first lady's image, is why they let her escape with a lot of things. They don't want to tarnish the Clinton administration worse than it already was.
In October, the Washington Post revealed that Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton campaign paid the now embattled research firm Fusion GPS to fund the research into the dossier. Mark Elias, who was a lawyer representing the Clinton campaign and the DNC, allegedly retained Fusion GPS but the campaign failed to disclose those payments on its financial records. I'm sorry, you're saying the DNC lied to the federal campaign by not submitting those documents? Another federal violation of campaign finance law?
Wow.
By the DNC?
Wow. Who was the head at the time? Was it It wasn't Schultz. It was the other lady, right? That was the head of the DNC at the time. That's now going out blasting everybody.
I actually didn't go to the national radio convention. I didn't go because she was the keynote speaker.
Right.
I didn't go. And I didn't want to be in the same room with her because matter and antimatter would cause the end of the universe. Therefore, I didn't go. And I know you're talking about, and I can't think of her name right now offhand. And let's see. In April, CNN reported that the dossier was used to monitor communications of Carter Page, who volunteered as a national security advisor with the Trump campaign for a short period of time. But in December, the New York Times story seemed to suggest that the inquiry into the Trump campaign and its alleged ties to Russia began with George Papadopoulos, who worked for as a foreign policy advisor to Trump campaign. Sources told the New York Times that it was Papadopoulos' conversation with an Australian diplomat in London bar in May of 2016 that caught the attention of the FBI. Quote, now that the dirt has spilled on the dossier, it looks like some officials are trying to deflect by saying the inquiry began with Papadopoulos, end quote, a senior law enforcement official said. By the way, Sarah Carter, hats off. You have done an amazing job. You are the definition of a journalist. The media today is absolutely corrupt. Okay? The media today, that's why Trump calls it fake news.
Yep.
They have an outright agenda. When a former president mocks, people who watch Fox News, but yet CNN's out there lying and having to actually change their stories, and the View's out there lying, and they can't. The View never walks anything back. They're like, yeah, we lied. Who cares?
Well, they will apologize if they did something wrong.
Who's the guy who was just suspended?
From where?
MS, ABC, BCBS, NBC. I don't care.
I don't remember.
He was just suspended because he came out and changed the dates, saying that this email was sent at a certain time, which makes it look like that he was trying to protect the person, and it was all fake. It was all wrong, and they suspended him. All that kind of stuff. And here's Sarah Carter. SarahCarter.com. Fantastic. Sarah Carter out there doing actual boots-on-the-ground journalistic work to find the truth, which is the heart of journalism. Find the truth. Her tagline is taking back the story.
Wow.
Where they're out there creating a narrative, she's doing actual journalistic work with something called ethics.
Morals.
Don't create the story. There's a scientific axiom that says the observer changes the outcome. Right? So in science, I was a physics major at college. In science, the observer always changed the outcome. There's no way in a scientific experiment that the observer can't change the outcome. It's physics. In journalism, the observer is never supposed to change the outcome.
Right.
CNN, MSNBC, all of them, especially MSNBC, they have an outright agenda. There is no joke that they want to change the outcome. And they accuse Fox News of doing the same thing, when I fear that Fox News, other than maybe Shepard Smith, who I can't stand on Fox News, yes, people have agendas, but talking about things in a truthful manner is different. And if you call yourself a journalist, please be truthful. Please.
Never mind the fact that CNN passed on this entire story. They didn't want to run it.
And by the way, I got to give them credit for that.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed is the one who grabbed it, or was it Politico?
BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed grabbed it and ran with it. They were like, we got them. At least CNN and the journalistic ethics to go, I don't know.
Because it was unsubstantiated. They couldn't verify the claims. So
Right.
they were like, no, we don't want to do it.
And why were they spending so much time verifying the claims on this specific thing? Because on the last 100, they've been hammered for not verifying the damn sources.
Donna Brazile, by the way.
Donna Brazile,
the
yeah.
head of DNC at the time.
Yeah.
Who claims she didn't know that the DNC was paying for the dossier.
And by the way, I believe her.
I do too.
Because she came in as the interim director when Debbie Wasserman Schultz, in shame, had to resign.
Yep.
Because as it turns out, that they gave financial control of the DNC to Hillary Clinton in a backroom deal. It's just unheard of, people. And by the way, we don't make this crap up. We are not smart enough to make this.
Google it all.
At all are we smart enough to make this junk up. Just go out there and find it for yourself.
While you still can before they change their algorithm.
Oh, my goodness. All right. When we come back, We're going to talk about the State of the Union. Have I covered everything? DACA?
When is the State of the Union?
It's I'll tell you when
Monday?
I'll tell you when we come back. Franco. Oh, we got the Pussy Hat story too. And by the way, if you're listening in Hawaii, you are not being bombed.
Yeah.
Earl's going to tell you about that story when we come back. It's Earl and George, aged conservative talk. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Mom. Is Claire's birthday party today? Me again, Mom. Where did I put my history book? Hi. Sorry, forgot one last thing. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. At school, I start looking out the window, and then I forget what I was supposed to be thinking about. I know it seems like I don't care, but I do. It's just difficult for me. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Smoother than aged whiskey and tighter than turn 4 at Talladega. Earl and George.
Tuesday, January 30th, State of the Union address. I knew when I woke up this morning I would use the term, "You're not being bombed, Hawaii."
Officials in Hawaii, the Hawaiian Emergency Management System, sent out an alert. You know how you get the Amber Alerts and weather alerts on your phone?
Yep.
Well, the Hawaii EMA sent out the following message to everybody in Hawaii. It said, ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill.
Wow.
Only minutes later to come back and say that no missile threat to Hawaii. That's all they said on their Twitter. They didn't release it through the phones. They just made an announcement on Twitter and the TV stations and everything in Hawaii.
Well, I mean, what was the reaction? Do people were like,
yeah, there was panic. There was panic in Hawaii. The story is still updating because it's been breaking the whole time we've been on the air.
Okay, so that leads me to ask the question: why do we do that? I mean, they say, well, we're going to send out this alert to save lives. If a ballistic missile is headed toward Hawaii and you send out an alert that says a ballistic missile is headed toward Hawaii, how many lives are you really going to save?
Right.
Because a screw up by your EMA computer caused statewide panic. Why send out the alert?
It just updated the thing. It says Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii, Democrat.
His name is Schatz.
I think SCHATZ.
Oh, I'm calling him Schatz.
Was caused by, quote, human error. State Warning Point has issued a missile alert in error. There is no threat to state Hawaii. It actually says that it was broadcast on TV, too. Like, it interrupted sports officials, sports games, and all kinds of stuff.
Dude, we're so screwed, the human race.
Right.
Seriously. I love my wife to death. By the way, I am married to the most amazing woman on the planet. I love my wife to death. Last night, she was asking me how to turn on the Xbox in the living room. And the first thing, she did something, which made me, I laughed so hard. And then the next thing out of my mouth was, thank God you're not in charge of the nuclear football. Like, I was like, you can't even turn on the TV and switch over to Xbox. I'm like, but I love her to death. She runs the radio station. It's like, I can't. There's just some things, man. And again, last week we were talking about the two physics professors that I was in a discussion with about how they had the batteries in backwards in the remote control.
Right.
Look, we're screwed, humans. We're done.
Fundamentally flawed.
We are fundamentally flawed beings. And so again, I go back to the question. I mean, if you really are under ballistic missile attack, how many lives do you think you're going to save by sending out a tweet that says ballistic missile attack inbound?
Seek shelter.
What are you going to do? You're in Hawaii.
Well, they've opened up, like, they've renovated and everything, the old Cold War shelters that they had in Hawaii.
Ballistic missile. Okay.
Yeah, I know you're screwed, but still.
World War II shelters were made for aerial bombs, about a couple 100 pounds. This is a ballistic missile. This could take out an island.
Right, like Hawaii.
Like Hawaii. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the bomb shelter. Okay, I'm gonna sit here and watch it come in. It's like
enjoy the view while I can.
Oh, there it is. Boom. I used to tell people when I was in Afghanistan, they're like, "Aren't you scared of being hit by a mortar or rocket?" I said, "Look, I'm more scared of it landing 20 feet away and hurting me. I want it to hit me on the top of the head. Like, I want to be the detonation point,
right?
Because I don't want to live through that, right? I want to I'm walking along. What am I going to do at work today? Dead. Boom. Like, you're alive 1 minute, you're dead the next.
Yep.
What I don't want is to blow up over there and 500 pieces of tiny little metal come ripping through my body. That would suck.
Yep.
So if I'm in Hawaii and a ballistic missile's coming, I want it to land on me, okay? Because there ain't no way you're going to...
You got your binoculars and the compass and going, okay, and it's X,
And that's why people they're all running for the bomb shelters. They're running. And I was at the most attacked base, by the way, in Afghanistan. We used to call it Rocket City. We got hit so much. People would run to the shelters, and I'm walking back from the showers with my towel. And I mean, they're like, "Why aren't you running?" I'm like, if it's going to, like, why be tired when I die?
Right.
It's like, if it's going to hit me, it's going to hit me, bro. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do. And the bunkers were like concrete squares with sandbags on top.
Yep.
It was like, dude, all you're doing is adding to the shrapnel that's going to rip through your body when you die. So it's like, you come to this certain point.
You're such an optimist.
You come to this certain point when it's like, if I want to die, I want to be quick. Right? I'm not going to run for a bomb shelter and be, oh, man, now I'm out of breath. Boom. And then you die. It's like, it sucks.
When I'm in the car with somebody speeding, I always tell them, hit something hard. I don't want to limp away.
Yeah, right. People say, oh, you ride a motorcycle, you're going to eventually crash. I'm like, and if I do, I want to die. I don't want to live at 120 miles an hour. Like, I don't want to live through that. Okay. That's just me, by the way. I can only speak for me. This doesn't represent the public service announcement, the underwriters of the Earl and George program.
So, Hawaii, you're not under attack.
You're not under attack, Hawaii. All is fine. By the way, when you see, oh my gosh, is this the boy cried wolf?
It sounds like
what if the attack comes tomorrow and they send out an alert? This is not a drill. And people are like, it's screwed up again.
Right.
Boom, dead. What if they're setting you up, Hawaii? What if it's Trump wanting to kill as many of you as possible?
Because he's racist.
I'm telling you right now, not Dianne Feinstein, Maxine Waters is sitting at home going, how can I make the ballistic missile threat text Trump's fault? And Hillary Clinton is going to put out a tweet today about the ballistic missile threat. I guarantee you, here's what they're going to do. They're going to say, tensions with North Korea are so bad with Donald Trump that Hawaii has to put out a test improperly. They're going to, I'm telling you, dude. You watch, Mr. Producer. I'm telling you, they're going to turn this and they're going to say, if Donald Trump had a better relationship with Kim Jong-un, this wouldn't have happened. Who wants to bet me lunch? Come on.
I'm not
Who
taking
wants
it.
to bet me lunch?
I'm not taking it.
Mr. Producer?
I'm good.
Yes, because you know I'm right. You know I'm right. All right. State of the Union, January 20th. Maxine Waters, our favorite. Absolute favorite. Do we have some famous Maxine Water quotes, Mr. Producer? You want to dig through the Earl and George archive and find us some Maxine Water quotes? I don't care what it is. Just find her name and click play. Maxine Waters says she is going to boycott the State of the Union. Quote, so Congressman John Lewis, Democrat Georgia, of course, civil rights legend John Lewis, is not going to the State of the Union. This is a quote from Reid. Harry Reid. Maxine Waters, yeah. Maxine Waters, quote, I didn't go to the inauguration. Yes, we know you're a sore loser. I didn't go, the join session that was held after that. Yeah, we know you didn't go because you hate white men. So she doesn't intend to go to this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, a sitting House of Representatives member is not going to the House of Representatives, to the full Congress, to hear a presidential State of the Union. Did anybody boycott Obama?
No.
Did any of the Republicans boycott Obama's State of the Union?
No.
I remember when he was talking about.
Will be all about socializing.
What? Sorry.
Perfect clip.
Will be about.
It's going to be. Stop. Go play that from the beginning because I cut her off. She says this liberal or something.
This liberal will be all about socializing.
Stop. Oh, man, that's the best clip. This liberal's all about socializing. Oh, my gosh, I let it slip. Go.
This liberal will be all about socializing.
Listen to that.
Would be about.
And all the Democrats are like, don't do it. Don't tell them our secret.
Basically,
here it is.
Taking over.
Huh? Uh-huh.
And the government running all of your companies.
That's about 20 seconds of delay.
Do what? And do you hear the person in the back of the room going, ha, ha, ha. He's thinking, oh, crap. That's it. That she's a socialist. Because what she said is the government taking over your business and running it. That is the definition of socialism.
Yep.
You want to hear another one?
Yeah, sure.
Madam Chairwoman, the day is over when men can badger and intimidate women, marginalize them, and keep them from speaking. I am pleased I was able to come to her defense. We are now in this House. We are members of this House. We will not allow men to intimidate us and to keep us from participating.
The gentlewoman must suspend.
Madam Chairwoman, thank you again. You see a man.
You were just told to shut up.
California is out of order. You must suspend, gentlewoman.
Madam Chair, lady, do you ever see men?
Madam Speaker, I demand the
Wow.
arms bring the gentlewoman to her feet.
Do you ever see men do
Madam
this
Speaker,
to other
I
men?
demand the gentlewoman comply with the rules of this House.
It is only when a woman attempts to speak.
Gentlewoman from California, you must suspend.
It is only when a woman attempts to exercise her rights.
Where's the sergeant at arms?
They just called him.
Speaker, I demand the
Do we
sergeant
have
at arms
this kind
bring
of
the gentlewoman to
intimidation?
her Must feet. suspend, gentlewoman from California.
This is a fine example of what they tried to do to us. I am
Madam
pleased
Speaker, I move this House to now adjourn.
that I was able to come to Maggie Williams' defense.
Wow.
She is the one claiming that Donald Trump should be impeached. She has a record. She is known as the least ethical congresswoman ever. And by the way, that display where the sergeant at arms is called to bring a House member to their feet, meaning they are shackled and removed from the floor of the House of Representatives. I don't know how many times that has ever happened in the long history of the House of Representatives in the United States of America.
Do you know if they actually did that to her? I mean, I know
they
called
adjourned.
Him. Oh, okay.
The chairwoman who is in charge of deliberations for the day, and that rotates, told her to suspend multiple times. And the congressman who was telling her to suspend, saying, Madam Chairwoman, she is out of order, was absolutely 100% right based on the rules of the House.
Yep.
She was out of order.
Acting like a fool.
Acting like a fool. This is the person who is out there screaming at the top of her lungs that Donald Trump should be impeached. Why should we impeach Donald Trump? No evidence whatsoever. The fact that he won and Hillary Clinton didn't.
Right.
There's
no legal.
There is no legal. And I saw an article the other day that said that Pelosi's out there saying that the American people want Trump to be impeached. Who are these American people?
The sore losers.
The poll that she's referring to says 67% of black Americans want Trump to be impeached.
Wow.
That tells me that 67% of black Americans have drank the freaking liberal Kool-Aid. When they want to impeach a president who has brought the African-American jobless rate to its lowest point in American history.
Right. Forget about that.
Unbelievable. And, I mean, you have... Man, I'm about to lose my Jesus. I'm literally about to lose it. You have people saying that they want to impeach Trump.
Yep.
There is zero evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors. None. The only reason they want to impeach Trump is because he won. That's it. They have no evidence of Russia collusion. They have no evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors, which is the standard by which the House determines whether he's impeached. And they're saying this to distract you from all of the things that his administration is doing right. They're setting you up America. So now it's big news that Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who I believe is the most unethical human being in the Congress.
Is she a
and you
hole?
And you keep voting for her, Compton. Stop it. They are lying to you. Lying to you. The black community in this country is being used by the Democratic Party as a weapon. They have weaponized you. And I hate to break it down for you, but I could care less what 67% of 13% of America says.
Right.
67. You know, the black population in the United States of America is 13%.
Yep.
And yet we talk about them being this enormous voting bloc. Do you know why they're this enormous voting bloc?
Why?
Because they're told how to vote. They can count on a majority, 67%, of the black community in the United States to not think for themselves and make their own adult decisions. They know, and I'm talking to you, Black America, they know you will do what they say. Who are the slave owners now? Stop it. Think for yourself, people. Do your own research. If you want to vote to impeach Trump, fine. Show me your evidence. If you want to vote for Maxine Waters, fine. You're free to do that. But don't do it because your pastor told you to do. Did you know in some black churches they hand out voting, who to vote for?
Yep.
And the congregation does it?
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And then they turn around and you believe all this crap. Why? Why are you doing this to yourselves?
President
Stop it.
Johnson.
Stop it.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States.
By the way, Texas Democrat Al Green vowed on Friday to force another impeachment vote on the House floor next week because of President Trump's crap hole comments.
Unbelievable. I mean, it just
wasting time and money.
It just boggles my mind that 67% of 13% of our population are sheep.
Yep.
You can't think for yourself. Why do you do what they say? And I thought about this the other day. Two things I was thinking about that did go through my mind. How long have you been voting for Democrats? If the Democrats constantly promise you better stuff and new stuff and better communities and safer communities and lower drugs and lower taxes and better schools, and you keep voting for Democrats, where are the results?
Detroit.
I got to stand up.
Detroit. Chicago.
Why do you keep voting for
Compton.
people? Why do you keep voting for people that outright lie to you? If Maxine Waters comes to your community to talk about what's going on in Compton, and yet nothing in Compton has gotten better for the last 25 years she's been the congresswoman, why in the hell do you keep casting your vote for her? If San Francisco, which I spend half of my life in, is such a crap hole, why do you keep electing Nancy Pelosi? We're going to get rid of homeless people, and we're going to get rid of drugs, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. You know, none of that stuff happens. Yeah, I'm getting close. I'm getting really close. Why do you keep electing Democrats? Is it because you hate Republicans so much? Vote independent then.
Racism, that's why.
Vote. Don't vote Democrat. Vote other. Vote anything else. Because the people who sit there and tell you that, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and all this stuff's going to happen, and have been in the Congress for 30 years, where are their results? Am I the only person that thinks this way?
Not at all.
Am I the only critically thinking American left? Because if Donald Trump doesn't fulfill his campaign promises, in 2020 we're going to be Donald, why should I vote for you? Rand Paul should have had a chance. Who's the guy I voted for?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. I forgot his name because I'm so ramped up on all this crap. Ted Cruz should have had a shot.
Yep.
And if any of them didn't fulfill their promises to me, I wouldn't vote for him a second time. So far, Donald Trump he's batting about 80%.
Yep. I'd even say a little bit higher. I'd say he's doing about 85%.
Black America, why do you keep voting for these people? And if we're so racist, why is Tim Cook the representative from Tennessee of all places? I have no problem voting for a person who's of Mexican descent or African descent or American descent or European descent. Their skin color means nothing to me. But if I vote for them and nothing in my community changes and they promise to change it, like Senator Shelby,
right?
Time for you to go. If you vote for them and they don't change your community for the better, why do you continue to vote for them? Compton? It's unbelievable. Dude, that is, you gotta, yeah. Like, why? Why do you do that? Stop it. Use your brains. There's no reason to impeach Trump.
Nope. No legal reason.
The only reason 60% of 13% of the American population, statistically,
26.1 million,
is because you've been told to hate him. And the only reason all these senators and Congress people are out there acting a fool, or shall I say, acting a fool, is because they lost the freaking election. They can't deal with it. A year later, Maxine Waters can't do it. And by the way, second point is if Maxine Waters is your congresswoman, your representative, and all she does is bash Trump and not do her freaking job, why are you paying her to not do her job?
And live in those $1 million mansions.
Her job is not to bash Trump, Compton.
Nope.
Her job is to work for you in the United States Congress.
How you living in your $1 million mansions?
Earl and George, the only show you need. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Smoother than aged whiskey and tighter than turn 4 at Talladega. Earl and George.
All right, coming up, we're going to wrap up the show here. I want to talk about pussy hats. We talked about them last week. It's very interesting. Pussy hats were the anti-Trump Women's March. They're falling out of favor. Do you know why, Earl?
Why?
Mr. Producer, do you know why?
Do their hats stink?
Wow.
No. Now, the reason they're called pussy hats is because they have little cat ears.
Right.
Right? No weird, nothing wrong with it. A sea of pink knitted caps shaped with feline-like ears were atop the heads of scores of attendees of last year's Women's March in protest of newly inaugurated President Donald Trump. I was in Los Osos, California. I was visiting my sister in Morro Bay. My wife and I were going to go to a movie. We drove to Los Osos to the nearest movie theater, right smack in the middle of the protest.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I was so pissed off. And, of course, I had to engage every single one. I'm rolling down the street. I'm the only person.
What'd you say to him?
Oh, I was rolling down. They were crossing the crosswalk in front of me, and I was like, if Clinton was president, you'd be getting out of my way right now. Stuff like that, because they would block the crosswalk.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, I was going crazy. I was in a rental car. What do I care? They could have beat the rental car, and I was like, yeah, protest. Anyway.
Sir, what happened to your car? You know.
One of those protesters is now suing the state of California for getting hit while being on the street.
Oh, that's my phone.
Yep.
Oh, suspected scam. Look at that. I love this new app that I have. I think it's a new app. So why are the pink pussy hats going out of style? Well, the reason, apart from the vulgarity of all of it, the colorful head apparel excludes
men,
transgender women,
oh wow,
and gender non-binary individuals who lack female genitalia, as well as women of color, since their genitals are more likely to be darker colors than pink.
Wow, dude, really?
Wait.
Why did it have to go
What?
there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, then.
Where did you find that story?
I'm just going to hand it to you. Dude, seriously, that's why.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that's where you got it from.
It's crazy, man. So,
Dude.
it was just unbelievable. That's the liberal mindset, a burning bag of poo on your doorstep.
Having to get rid of them because other races' colors are darker.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Than the bright pink hats they're wearing.
And because they don't represent, the name of them don't represent transgendered men, women.
Or non-binary.
Or non-binary, whatever it is. I saw another article that says that heterosexual men are not allowed to say no or should be shamed for not having relations with a transgendered female.
Yep.
What?
And that a transgender female should not feel obligated to tell you that she's a transgender female.
I mean, if you can't tell the difference, fine. Or if you don't care, fine. If you want to have a relationship, fine. The thing is, I find it very interesting that a choice that you made in your life to change from a male gender to a female gender, you're now removing my choice whether I can have sex with you or not. I'm now obligated to, as a heterosexual man, seek out and have a relationship with a woman who used to be a man, and I'm not allowed to have the choice that you in your own life use the choice to be. It's a burning bag of poo on your porch.
People have lost their minds.
The liberal mind is diseased.
And then some.
I've always said that liberalism is a disease.
Yep.
It's a cancer. It needs to be cut out of America. And the agenda is a burning bag of crap on your porch. The Democrats will walk up, set a bag of crap on fire, hit your doorbell, and run away giggling like a 2-year-old.
Wee! That's how they're going to sound.
It's unbelievable. Okay, so I had this thought this past week. I was talking to Earl about it off the air, about this religion science debate. And this came from because I've been binge watching Ancient Aliens. I don't know why. I have my computer set up.
Do you believe in aliens?
I have two computers. Why not? I'm a physicist, right? I'm also a man of God, or a godly man, as my dad liked to put it. I have one computer that I work on, and I have another computer over here just rolling Ancient Aliens, man. So the last week I've been binge watching, and this question came up about science and religion. And I started thinking about it from a logical standpoint. I started thinking about it because I'm a man of faith. I know Earl's a man of faith. Science, and I'm also a scientist. I've always loved science.
Right.
So I can be objective about it. So objectively speaking about this question, I find it, 80% of America believes in angels or something like that? Like we're a very faithful country, right? The core belief of Christianity is 2,000 years old. 2,000 years. Over 2,000 years. The core belief of Judaism is over 5,000 years. I think it's 5580 something, whatever the Jewish year is. But the core belief of Judaism is over 5,000 years old. The core belief of Islam, not my favorite religion, is over 5,000 years old because it roots from Judaism. The core belief of these other, Buddhism and all these, Shintoism, they're thousands of years old. And yet, we're told that we, people who are people of faith, are delusional for putting our belief in something that can't be quote unquote proven. And yet, science changes all the time.
Right.
Why would you put your faith in something that next week could be proven wrong?
The world's flat. Wait a minute. No, it's not.
We have evidence that the world is not flat.
Right.
And yet, people are out there still saying the world's flat.
There's a whole movement.
In fact, a couple thousand years ago, no one knew the earth was round, except maybe the Maya, because they got that from Ancient Aliens. But
there you go.
Science changes all the time. In the 40s, smoking was good for you.
Yep. That's why Andy Griffith did it all the time.
8 out of 10. There was a commercial. 8 out of 10 doctors recommended Camel.
Wow.
Okay, you're like, George, you made that up. No, go for listen for yourself. Go research Camel cigarette. Pull it up. Just do a Google search for Camel cigarette commercial.
Yep.
And you'll pull it up. You're like, 8 out of 10 doctors recommend Camel. It's like, what? So science changes all the time with new discoveries. And yet we have scientists telling us things that are blatantly false. Climate change. And yet that people who put their lives, choose to live their lives by a faith or as I like to put it, a set of ethics and rules are delusional. There's no proof of God. There's no proof of this. There's no proof of that. The Bible's a book of this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, really? Because as a man of science, I need to have empirical evidence.
So apparently, this is getting to the camel things. Did
you find it?
Yeah, but it's a cartoon.
Oh,
and they're singing about cigarettes.
Oh, you play?
Well, yeah, that's
please play this.
One.
Yeah, Camel cigarettes.
That's why they drew Joe Camel like a cartoon.
My favorite.
Makers of Camels send free cigarettes to hospitalized servicemen. Boise, Idaho, and Topeka, Kansas. United States Army Air Force Station Hospital, West Overfield, Massachusetts.
Thanks. Way to go, Camel.
States Naval Hospital, Quantico, Virginia.
And this was 40s,
50s,
50s.
Million gift camels to servicemen, servicewomen, and
Okay, good.
Yeah, the clips I found say more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. And then this one is actually the ad where it says, "Unbelievable, doctors are recommend smoking." 60 years ago.
Yeah, right. And the reason is because smoking opens your blood vessels, and they thought that was good for. It's a constrict. Which one does it do? Is it open? It constricts. They thought that was good for you. There used to be an ad. It was like, feeling a little anxious? Have a Marlboro. I mean, it's like. So why do people put in the doctors? And again, having the medical issues that I had this last week, and I thank God. Yes, I did that on the radio. I thank God that we live in America with still the best health care and the best technology and the smartest doctors on the planet.
For now.
Why do people put such stock in science without any empirical evidence? Evolution. Not that I'm a creationist. Because if you want to get into the evolution debate, it's all about Darwinistic evolution, the ascent of man, or change over time. Which both, by the way, are evolution. One is a theory. The other, change over time, I see every day.
Right.
Okay? Now, I don't know why that came into my head. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it next week because we're out of time. We got to pick our douche of the week. We've only got a couple minutes. Mr. Producer, let's see if he comes up with someone new. Do you have, other than Kanye West, a douche of the week nominee? He's probably going to do it now.
Kim Kardashian.
Well done.
Kim Kardashian West.
Earl, do you have any?
Yeah, I actually have three, but I'm gonna go with the University of Maryland Medical Center for dumping a patient on the side of the road with nothing but a hospital gown on.
Seriously?
This has become a world more pandemic here in America because they're kicking patients out that are, quote, unruly, but the hospital administration determines what's unruly. If you're unruly, say you're in the hospital and you're in there and you need something to drink and it takes them 2 hours to get it, you're going to be angry. And they're kicking people out for this. And then they came back and said she got the appropriate care. They put her out on the street in 30-degree weather wearing nothing but a hospital gown. It was unbelievable. And I experienced that with my mom, which is why it pisses me off. But I also have everybody out in Little Rock, Arkansas that wanted to condemn the cops for shooting the 17-year-old. Comes to find out the 17-year-old had a gun and was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And then the pay dispute with Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams didn't actually want money. She wanted a back-end deal of the percentage, so get over it, people. Those are mine.
Not to overuse this word, but I'm totally going to trump all of your suggestions.
Okay.
Bo Scarborough.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Scarborough, a college student from the University of Alabama. I will call him out as my douche of the week. Does anybody else want to go against me there?
No. Tell him why, though.
Came out of the locker room, walking through the hallway to start the championship and screamed at the top of his lungs, F Trump.
Although, in his defense, the video doesn't actually prove him doing it.
No, it doesn't.
It is very
But
close,
then he
though.
came out and said, I said Georgia. Either way, you don't say F Georgia right before you play them. And by the way, when I've listened to the video, you're not saying Georgia, Bo, so you're a liar.
Yeah, it is Trump. It's clearly Trump.
It's clearly Trump. Okay? So we get it. You don't like the white guy. You don't like the president. Keep that all to yourself. But you know something? I don't think you should. I think they should deal with that, bench him, whatever, send him off to the University of Tennessee, whatever. If Saban had known before the game and didn't bench him, I'm going to call out Saban.
Right.
I don't think Saban knew. Okay? So it is what it is. Earl and George, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week with another edition to wrap up the news stories of this coming week. We'll call out the douche of the week. So congratulations, Bo Scarborough, not only on a national championship, but you're also a gigantic douche. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Thank you, Earl.
Love you, Mama.
And you guys get out there and do something nice for someone you don't know. Have a great week. Share Earl and George to everybody you know. We'll see you next week, everybody.